Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to the 2022 Patriots Unfiltered Draft Show.
Welcome to the NFL Draft.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is the Draft Extravaganza Day 2. And the whole Patriots Unfiltered gang is here. We're on video, so, be in your best behavior. Boys, pay attention. There's going to be a quiz.
I'm paying attention.
Yeah. No,
we're multitasking.
No, but we are here until 10 o'clock, but on video until 8 o'clock because, the NFL police says we can only have 1 hour of video. We can't cut into the broadcast too much.
Too much sexy. I mean, you can't
they don't want
much.
us. They don't want us taking away.
Yeah,
sure.
And it's definitely true that the second hour of the draft on NFL Network and ESPN is the higher rated.
That's right.
After they leave us.
But it's Mike Dussault, it's
Bumps up the
Tamara
ratings.
Brown, it's Eric Scalavino, Paul Perillo, myself. Matt Morrell's in the booth. I don't know if we can see him.
I don't know if we want to.
Yeah, he's raising the roof in there.
He's watching Spider-Man.
So let's get right into it.
He's dressed like Spider-Man.
The Patriots have a pick in round 2, the 22nd pick, 54th overall. Mm-hmm. And then they've got 2 picks in the 3rd round, the 21st pick in the 3rd round, and the 30th pick in the 3rd round.
Now, Freddie, you have a bold prediction that you told me about off air.
Oh, do you?
So I want you to
several.
Several.
I want you to share your bold prediction today.
I said they're going to probably trade up.
They're going to move up.
Yeah.
All right.
Freddie's calling it.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it too. I hope so. There's good players out there today.
Yeah.
Who are we moving up for?
Well, let's before we get into the second round, there's probably some unfinished business because the Patriots picked and our show kind of came to an end, or some would say a screeching halt.
You were so upset you wouldn't even let the last pick go off the board.
Right.
That's
it. But we've had a night to think about it, and really the whole day. Any thoughts on the first round pick, Cole Strange?
Like the player, like the kid, don't like the value of where they got him. And I mean, I think that's it was I don't want to call it the nightmare, but I think we all were aware of guard. It was a significant need, but personally, it felt like you can get guards later. He wasn't. I think as things have come out, it's not quite like he was like a day 3 guy or anything, but certainly went ahead of where most people expected him to. But was definitely on the radar. Was a Patriots type guy.
Yeah.
Got to meet him today. He came into the building and was presented with the jersey down in the stadium. Out on the field with the Crafts, and seems like a good kid, good football player. I understand though a lot of people are a little upset, and I mean I'll lead the way with. I think they need to do something on defense tonight. I really think if we come out of here and not feeling like we got a defensive player that has some promise and can maybe bring something additional to the table, it's going to be more disappointing. So I'm optimistic that they're going to make some moves tonight and get some players to round out around him.
Tamara, you had a chance to sit with him and do an interview, which I saw. Good job, by the way.
Thank you.
But he seemed like a really nice guy.
Yeah, he seemed like a really nice guy. And to Mike's point, I'm really optimistic, especially after sitting down and having a conversation with him. I think that the Patriots with that pick yesterday, I know that it was a bit early for some people's liking, but I think that they have shown it a priority to protect their quarterback of the present and the future, and that's Mac Jones. And so I think that looking at some of the stats on him last night when I was preparing for the interview, 1 sack over the past 4 years, that's incredible. I mean, I'm really looking forward to that guy protecting Mac Jones. Obviously, we'll hear more of his dinner with Mac Jones tonight, which should be interesting.
Yeah, we can't divulge where they're going.
He was about to divulge it, and they're like, "Don't say it, don't say it." He's like, "I don't know, we're going to a place I think it's called." They're like, "Oh, don't get that out."
They're going out tonight.
I can't disclose that he likes seafood, everybody. So we'll hopefully hear his first lobster roll maybe soon.
I think,
but
I love
like
the
pick.
idea that Mac is right away.
Yeah.
Let's go out to eat.
Yeah.
That's more a Mac thing to me than a Cole thing. But I like that Mac is like, I want to get to know you right away. So that's good.
And he definitely seems like a do your job type of guy. I mean, perfect fit.
He's a grinder.
Perfect fit.
He's a grinder. It's all about football, all the right answers.
Yes.
And I don't think they were given to him. I think
Yeah.
these were genuine answers that he had. Like I think one of the questions you had was like, was it nerve-wracking, this whole last couple months, and he's like, I got to talk to like GMs and head coaches and football scouts. He's like, it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't nervous. It was kind of cool. It's like a dream to be able to do this.
Yeah, I feel bad for players in his situation where everybody's so disappointed because he plays guard and he was taken higher than he probably should have been, where he's probably a great young man and, excited to be here, as he said a bunch of times last night and again today.
Yep.
And he's probably going to be an immediate starter given the need that they have. And he'll probably end up being a solid player. You feel bad that like if you're him and you're reading any of your press clippings today, you're like, wow, everybody just is down on me.
Right.
Here. Like it's sad that he has to have that sort of entree into his new line of work.
Yeah.
But it's understandable because you look at you look at where so many people expected him to go, and I think the Rams were leading the charge with that last night. And Bill kind of had to make a point last night of saying, well, we picked him because we're pretty sure he wasn't going to be there the next time we were up, and like he usually doesn't say that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but
it's a little.
But think about any
say it's
other
a little
line of
strange,
work
but
other
that's
than
something.
sports. You're going for a job, and you went to this small school, and
Right.
you're going up against these Ivy League people, and they end up picking you for the job. And on day one, you hear all the people in the work say, they reach for him. He's,
Yeah.
He's not going to make it.
What's this guy doing
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
It's like, and that's how you start your work life.
I know.
off,
Yeah, I feel bad for him in that way, but
I thought his answer last night, though, to that question that someone asked, like, how do you feel knowing that, some people thought you were going to go tomorrow? And he said, I would have had the same chip on my shoulder no matter where I was picked. And I thought that was a pretty solid answer. So even if he was picked later, he said he would have still
even if you were
been
first
picked.
overall, really, that's what I would have followed up with.
I don't know what's going on in the draft right now. It looks like they're stringing somebody up by the feet.
It's the old.
Meanwhile, it's a sacrifice.
It's the Houdini.
I think that's Baker Mayfield.
Get me out of Cleveland.
Just let him dangle out there.
Oh, literally, yeah.
Yeah. So listen, you come up with your theories on what happened, and my theory is, uneducated. I don't have any inside sources, but I think at 21, they said there's no one with a first-round grade. Let's trade down. They traded. They had a partner, Kansas City. They trade down to 29. I think they got to 29. Nothing's changed. If no one had a first-round grade at 21, no one had a first-round grade at 29.
Including Cole Strange.
Right, including Cole Strange, but they weren't able to move out again, and they were stuck making the pick, and I think that they said, okay, let's take the biggest need that we have, where one guy can fill that need, and we like this guy, and let's take him.
Yeah.
I don't think it was like, oh my God, I can't believe Cole Strange is still there, I know Bill said that they didn't think he'd be there for long. That's a relative answer.
Yeah.
Like what is
right,
long?
Exactly.
So I'm not buying that either. I just think it was like, for them, we have to make a pick. We have no other choice. For them, it was low risk. We know this guy loves football. He's going to be coachable. Let's just take the guy.
Yeah.
Let's just take the guy.
Now, I mean, okay, so let's say today they get a receiver, a cornerback, some immediate help on defense to go along with the projected starting guard here. You're going to feel better about their first 2 days. Because like if they had taken the corner,
Shocker, Paul won't.
No, I mean,
No,
what
I
they
mean-
do today is not going to have any effect on Cole Strange in my mind at all.
But it
Cole
might,
Strange
no,
is
but
just in
it
a
might have
vacuum.
an effect on the overall draft.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
my
But
point-
it won't make me feel better about the pick of Cole Strange.
So Eric,
But
you're saying don't judge
No,
the
no.
entire book by the cover.
No, what I'm
essentially.
saying is, like, if they had
By the
taken the
first chapter.
cornerback last
Yes.
night or the receiver last night and then gotten the receiver and Cole Strange today,
Right.
they'd still have those three players,
Right.
just in a different order. Like, would you have felt better
Well-
if they had taken the
Oh, if
cornerback?
you're going to tell me the same three players,
yeah.
then I'd feel better about it. But
Right.
the players that I wanted are gone, so that's impossible.
Yeah. See,
Like that's the thing is they could get a cornerback, but it ain't the cornerback I wanted.
See, that's the thing. It's
Whatever. Jermaine Johnson is really.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
guy. I was
Or
with
that's
Tamara.
Tamara's
Once
girl.
Jermaine Johnson started falling, the way
He was so
Tamara
close.
predicted at the start of the draft, I sort of wrapped myself around that. We could get an edge guy
Right.
that can be
But, like,
an impact guy.
If
Yeah.
let's just say they were able to get Booth or Pickens in round 2.
Yeah, I don't feel great.
I mean, if they had picked one of those guys in round 1 and picked Strange today,
Right, but-
you're still getting the same players.
But I can understand the people who say, yeah, okay, that's fine, but there were guys that now you passed up before you got to the second round that now you could have had.
Yeah.
And, 2 years from now, we don't want this to be the situation where we took N'Keal Harry and we passed up
Yeah.
all these other guys
Yeah.
that we could have had, that were there.
Yeah, for me it was McDuffie. I mean, I thought throughout the process he was one of the best fits of just a guy who and like Cole Strange for his for what he is checked a lot of boxes as being a Patriots type guy, and I thought McDuffie was that guy, and I thought he was kind of the perfect intersection of available right around where they were picking, a versatile secondary cornerback, can play a bunch of places, smart, physical, maybe not the biggest guy, but plays the way they like. And so he's the one that I'll probably have my on. I never got too attached to Jermaine Johnson until last night when he kind of started to
when
fall.
the name kept coming up
Yes.
over
Right,
and over.
right. But for the right reason. I mean, I think he was a good player, and I mean, I said the last few weeks I felt like edge is a significant need.
It
and,
is.
and I think he was a player that could have helped them.
But let's go back to the position of guard. They don't have one. They don't have a starting guard or they didn't have a starting guard on this team. So what about the idea that we have to take a guard at some point? We like this guy. There's no guarantee he's going to be there in the second round when we're picking.
Then take
let's,
the next one in
Let's
the
just
fourth
take.
round.
Well, let's just take him. Let's get that need taken care
Well,
of now.
And I would have been able to say, I would have been okay with that at 21 if it was Kenyon Green or Zion Johnson.
Zion Johnson, yeah.
Like one of those two guys. And again, I don't hate the trade. I said this last night. I like the trade in a vacuum. I don't hate. What I am thinking that they're going to regret down the road is the 4 or 5 players that were taken between 21 and 29 that I think there's a good chance that some of those guys can play.
Yeah.
And I think Mike hit on McDuffie. I will tell you one guy, if they could come away with Kyler Gordon today, who was McDuffie's teammate at
Yep.
Washington,
Yep.
I'd feel a little better because I think he can play too. And I think he has a lot of those Patriots traits that Mike is talking about.
Yep.
Booth is a guy that we talked about a little bit.
And he's available.
There's been a lot of information about him as to why he's still available medical-wise. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
If they didn't like the medicals and they have him off their board or something like that.
Same thing with
I'm
N'Kobe
totally,
Dean.
N'Kobe Dean has a litany of injuries.
What doesn't he
How does
have?
that just come out? I mean, is that just coming out now, or are we just becoming aware of that now?
I think that Dean's injuries mostly were in the past in college, but the knee thing would worry me. Like if there's a lot of wear and tear on a guy
Because
who's
he's a little guy, he's going to take
reliant
some
on his
beatings.
athleticism, so that's
Yeah.
going to deteriorate. And now he doesn't have any bulk to fall back on.
Didn't
you
he
know?
also have the other thing?
Pack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's a temporary injury. You get that fixed and it's fixed. Like wear and tear in the knee, like
Well,
bone
but I
on
mean,
bone
you
in
have
the
to-
knee, that ain't ever getting better.
a tackler with a pec injury, to me, that seems problematic.
Yeah, but
No, but you get surgery and it's fixed. Like wear and tear in the knee, you can't
Yeah.
get surgery
Yeah,
to
I
fix
know.
that.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
But he's
Yeah,
still
I mean-
probably spending his rookie
Yeah.
year with that harness around
Oh
his
yeah,
arm.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's not.
I can't lift it up
as
past
they
my
say,
head.
It ain't gonna be pleasant for him.
Right. It's not gonna be great.
So I
yeah, go
I
ahead.
have a question, and it also came up yesterday too. So with these picks tonight, Paul, would it make
Tamara.
you feel a little bit better to double dip wide receiver or double dip today for the defense and get a quarterback and maybe 2 edges or 2 cornerbacks, an edge?
I'm not sure.
All defense today, or would you
Where's
get
my-
at least
where's
one?
Give me. I'm going to jump in on
Okay.
while Paul's looking through his notes. I would say give me a defensive end,
And
a cornerback, and a wide receiver.
So
That would
one
be
of
the
each.
3 positions
So
I would
no,
want.
don't double dip today.
I'll
just
tell
one
you
of each.
who I'm starting. Ojabo. Who probably isn't going to give you much, if anything, this year. He tore his Achilles at his pro day.
So many injuries. In this draft.
There's some value there if you could get him in the in the third round or something like that. Now I don't know how long he's going to still be on the board. I guess Tampa's pick is
Yes.
in. We'll see what they.
yeah,
so-
I same question for me,
Yeah.
Tamara. We got to go
Logan-
defense,
Logan
defense,
Paul.
defense.
So
for
you're
me.
you're
I really
three
like
for
Logan
3 on the
Paul.
defense.
Yeah, I
tonight.
was like that before. Even before yesterday, I wanted defense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm okay with, waiting until
or
the
if it
4th
was-
round to get a wide receiver.
Yeah, or if you get Mechie and then 2 guys on defense.
Okay, but I want the majority of the players on defense. Yeah.
and I don't want Mechie. So
At all?
no,
Oh, wow.
Christian
Hot
Watson I would take.
But even like
At
if
some
Mechie's
point.
in the 4th round or something?
Yeah, well that's different.
Yeah.
Kyle Phillips?
Yeah, and that's
Okay.
I think he'll be a 3rd round pick. But
Yeah.
I'll take him, maybe down there. But I don't love the player.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
Jamison Williams to me was the guy. on that.
Oh, yeah.
on that offense.
Yeah, and the whole Alabama thing connection to me is overrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
fair.
So just a quick comment about Logan Hall, who apparently is going to the Buccaneers right now. I mean, that would have been a guy that I loved for that defensive end edge kind of role. Kind of reminded me of a mix of Lawrence Guy, Richard Seymour, long, not
In the 2022 NFL Draft, Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Logan Hall, defensive end, Houston.
Yeah, he could play all over the place, long. I mean, they could have done a lot with him, but he's one of those, another late riser, kind of sneak in here. They late word was, he could get into the first round. Obviously, he's one pick away, but he would have been. He was my sleeper pick in our final thing that we wrote for the Patriots. So he's going in the neighborhood of when they picked. That's a guy I would have liked today.
Paul,
So the Packers just moved up into the spot, so they got to take a wide receiver, right?
Aaron Rodgers will riot if they don't pick a wide receiver.
He's gonna riot no matter what.
Literally
Pretty much.
Right.
But to Paul's point, I hope they don't pick Christian Watson. But
Sky Moore is still available.
Sky Moore, Pierce. Didn't you mention Pierce a lot yesterday too, Fred?
I did. Alec Pierce.
Fred
from
likes
Cincinnati.
Alec Pierce.
Okay.
He likes a
But
lot of guys that can't play.
I don't think he should be taken this high. George Pickens,
Okay.
that we mentioned,
I
he's
do
still out
I
there.
do like Pickens, but I maybe Pickens over Watson. Sure, that's okay.
Pickens are
Watson-
slim at this point.
Oh my god!
Didn't you get it out of your system?
No,
all the strange
never.
I
stuff
think
yesterday?
the strange
Never
pick
do.
I thought would fulfill his pun fantasies for life.
I'm a
was
football
just-
pundit.
Hopefully, we got
Oh,
the strange
my
puns out of the
gosh.
way. I mean, every single.
So you don't like Watson, Tamara?
I do. I do. I think. Oh, that was great. I think for his size, he has great speed, and so I think it's going to be hard for people to cover him. And so I am a huge fan of him. He's also, if we're keeping down this road of small school trends, he's another small school guy, North Dakota State. So I think that he would be a great fit here, honestly. So
The pick is in.
Yeah.
And
there-
it's
and there it goes.
And there it
oh
is.
gosh.
Christian
Christian Watson.
Christian
Oh,
Watson.
Okay,
Wow.
well, I take back everything I just said.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a good one. I mean, he just has
There it is.
small school, but has all the intangibles and the measurables. If he can step up to the pro game, I think he has number one receiver potential. And I mean, playing with Aaron Rodgers, who seems to be able to take receivers in and make them work pretty well. I think it's a slam dunk pick for the Packers. Keep Aaron Rodgers happy. You lost Devontae Adams. He could give them a real number one threat. And that's why I want him for the Patriots. A day two guy who could potentially emerge into a real number one with size and speed and everything else.
What about another small school guy from South Alabama, Jalen Tolbert?
Yep.
I think.
I'm
I
not
know-
all that familiar with him. I don't really know
No,
much
he's
about him.
he's pretty highly ranked.
Yeah, he's another small school prospect, but I think again, similar to Cole at the Senior Bowl, he was able to show that he can compete with, the bigger school guys, and so I think that he could be another sleeper,
Yeah.
I guess, so to speak,
That-
out of a small school
that
that's
Senior
still really
Bowl
competitive.
is interesting in that it's not the game.
Yeah.
It's the practices.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they can match these guys up against guys who.
because Cole Strange was good in the practices and bad at the game.
Oh, be quiet.
But a guy like Jalen,
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Fred's right. It's about the
is.
the Senior
The
Bowl
week.
week is about
It's
the
the week.
practices.
Right.
Not
He's
necessarily
1,000%
the game.
Right, 'cause-
right.
'cause
I was
they-
being snarky, Paul.
I know, but they can match guys up. Like a guy from a small school, say, okay, how's he going to do against this guy
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
a bigger school?
that's-
And famously, Sebastian Vollmer. That's kind of where he popped.
Yeah, I watched some of Cole Strange at the Senior Bowl practices today, going up against Travis Jones, who's probably going to go very soon. But UConn, big defensive tackle, and I mean Strange played center pretty much the whole time he was at the Senior Bowl. So he held his own. He held his own against him, and that's a big boy.
yeah, and I think that Jalen, for example,
NFL draft.
For the
Even
hat,
though we
bro.
already
Green Bay
know.
Packers select Christian Watson, wide receiver, North Dakota State. Welcome to the pack, baby.
Okay.
So Jalen, for example, he has back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, and you look at that, you're like, yeah, but who does South Alabama play?
I know, but production is production.
Yeah.
So if he didn't have those, then it'd be more of a
But
commentary on him.
Yeah, and then he went to Senior Bowl, and I think that he was
Yeah.
just as good there
Yeah.
with some of the best talent.
Yeah,
in the
they
country,
always
so-
like to say about the small school kids, you better be dominating
yeah.
at your level.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You know?
If,
Yeah.
if they don't bite when they're puppies, they won't bite when they're dogs.
And you're going to make fun of me for this, because I'm not saying it because of Cole Strange, honestly. But I'd be more willing to take a flyer on an athlete at a small school, because I think that athleticism that translates.
Yes.
Like sometimes the big guys, and the worry for me for a guy like Cole Strange is that he's smacking around guys that are not anywhere near as big as he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that level. Now, I did read several places that corroborated what Bill said last night. He had one of his best games against Kentucky.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign. You know, he stepped up against an SEC team and he played well.
Yep.
So that's a good sign. Conversely, completely different guy here, but Malik Willis is a guy who plays quarterback at Liberty. He had a chance to play Ole Miss and did not perform well.
Right.
And that's a big red flag to me.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's unfair for those guys because they don't get a lot of chances to play against those teams, but you have to show that you can compete.
The Jets are coming up here.
The Jets?
I watched
The Jets have
They made a trade?
traded up to
Tennessee?
pick 35.
But digging on Strange a little bit today, he talked about that Kentucky game, and he knew going in that this is where I have to show up. And if I don't show up, it's going to say a lot. And if I do show up, it's going to say a lot as well. So he was well aware of that. And a guy that I really like from them is Pascal, who's another versatile front kind of guy, almost a poor man's Trayvon Walker. But he held his own against that guy, and he should probably go here in the second round as well.
Yeah, the more I think about the Strange pick, I think back to like the last two solid, like really high quality guards they had were Joe Tooney, Shaq Mason. 3rd round, 4th round. High caliber starting guards that were picked in the 3rd and 4th round. So this guy better be Logan Mankins like perennial Pro Bowler. I mean, it's high expectations when you're a 1st round pick, but at that position,
The bar's
especially,
been set. I mean,
the
he's
bar
got to
has
come
been
in.
set.
There's
He has to
nobody in
come
front
in.
of him. What is he not going to come in and beat up Ferentz?
Oh,
Like,
right.
He's going to start.
Yeah.
But I mean, not just start, but like he better be really good for a long time,
No,
Right.
he's not
to
gonna be
justify
Mankins.
it.
How did you guys?
22 draft,
This is the
NFL
Titans.
draft. The Tennessee Titans select Roger McCreary.
Oh.
That's a good one too.
Auburn University.
He's a good Patriot kind of fit. Same thing. It's that next level cornerbacks, but plenty of Patriots guys on him. McCreary off the board.
Yeah, so now the Jets are on the clock.
So the Jets
Who-
traded with the Giants, huh?
Yeah,
Who could they be going up to get? I mean,
they're being aggressive though. Got to give them
super
credit.
aggressive.
They really
and the
are.
Lions, both of them.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. But the Jets have had good drafts before. So
Well,
Yeah.
I was going to ask you guys, what was your opinion or impression of Logan Mankins when he came in as a rookie in training camp when you first kind of got a look at him? know
I
it's
thought he
going
was
back
going to be a
little bit.
tackle
Yeah.
because that's what he was at Fresno State. And Bill had always said, we
not gonna
wouldn't take a
take a
guard in the
guard.
first round. So I was really
twice now he's
surprised
done
that he
it.
turned into a guard, but he was a dominant guard from day one.
But
I mean, it was hard.
and I just remember from the start, I think the thing on Logan Mankins was he's going to be good. Like there was no question, I thought, when they picked Mankins.
And that was also exactly where he was supposed to get picked.
right.
He was an end of the first round guy.
Yeah.
That's another like misnomer with some of these guys is people say, well, Bill does this all the time and he's always right. No, he doesn't do it. Like people have this notion that McCourty wasn't supposed to be a first round pick. He absolutely was.
end of the first round.
He was an end
Yeah.
of the first, early second round projection.
Yeah.
And that's where he went.
Yep.
And everybody's like, oh, another diamond in the rough for Bill from Rutgers. Like no one saw this one coming. It's not what happened.
I think what happened with McCourty is somebody said, "Oh, he's a 4-down player." And it's like,
Correct.
oh,
Right.
great.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Special
Fred-
teamer.
Fred
Yeah.
nailed
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
That's-
Everybody
that's
said,
what
"Oh,
it was.
we've got a special teamer in the first round."
Yep.
Right.
No, he plays on 4 downs.
Right.
Yeah.
That's one of the rare times I remember Shalise coming at me. I never really got into those kind of
Twisting matches?
twisting
We call them
matches, if you
twisting
will.
matches.
But yeah, that was one like that. 4th round. Oh, how do you feel about him drafting a special teamer in the 1st round? That
Yeah.
was like how she was.
And you,
I'm
and you
like,
clap back at her.
I did. I think I did a little bit, but
Oh.
respectfully. I never was. I mean, some of the stuff I've seen on Twitter
Tastefully?
today, I'm like, dude, you guys got to log off and not take this so seriously. Like people is like living and
Dude,
dying
you
with
ain't
these
lying.
picks. Like, come on,
Brings out-
it's football. There's a lot going on in the world right
brings
now.
out the
Like,
worst
We
in
just
people.
want to watch football. and enjoy
all
it.
right, here we go. There's a lot going on in the world now. From the guy who we had a blog.
A little fun little hobby.
It was a tastefully done hobby.
855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket hotline. Webradio at patriots.com is the email address in case you want to participate in the show. We've got a couple callers hanging on. Let's go to Michael in Sacramento. You know Sacramento, Mike?
It's up north.
It's kind of the
Yeah,
capital. But
yeah.
Sacktown?
Yeah.
What's up, Mike?
Yeah.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen,
children of all
Hey.
ages.
children of all ages, I'm enjoying your show. By the way, I'm a former Ukrainian, so forgive my accent.
Oh,
Oh, no, hey.
Don't
Yeah,
be.
so I'm going to talk politics, but not the same politics that you everyone have in mind. I'm going to talk about football politics a little bit. I've watched Patriots draft for 20+ years as Bill's been there, and one thing, a lot of people came and go. The people who were assisting him with the draft, but that's a fact. But the draft strategy seems to be the same. It seems like they're always picking the players that are consistent with a particular strategy. To me, and that's a question, I'm not making a statement. To me, that means that Bill is the ultimate decider who gets picked. So regardless who brings information, he may agree, he may disagree, but he's the one who makes the calls. Would you agree with that?
yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Definitely.
We would.
Yep, wholeheartedly.
Okay. So there's nobody else who can really say that, Bill, this is not the guy or this is a concern. And
Oh no, I'm not saying that. There can be disagreements, and Bill's mind can be changed. But at the end of the day, it's his decision.
his decision.
Yep.
That's I always want. And so this is bringing me to the question. Again, I'm observing the historical record. I have noticed that he's been very good at finding value in rounds 4 to 7, even undrafted. I'm talking speaking value.
Yeah.
When it comes to rounds 1 to 2, maybe 3, hit and miss. That's my observation, subjective observation.
Okay.
Now another thing that I take as a fact, he calls draft crapshoot. And what's interesting that you would think that crap usually starts later, rounds 3 to 7, 4 to 7. That's when it gets more crappy, more uncertain. There's more certainty early on in rounds 1 to 2 when you see more players on a big stage. So you would think in rounds 1 to 2 or to 3, it should be less of a crapshoot and more of a crapshoot down the road. Why is it almost the reverse for us?
Well, I think that's an opinion. I think overall, like every team is. Oh, let's hear what the Jets pick.
Select
Revis.
Brees Hall.
Brees
running
Hall.
back,
Oh, the
Iowa
running back.
State.
Yep. Filling
First
out
running
some
back
weapons.
off the
Wow.
off
There
the
it is.
board. Yep.
It's like every time I listen to this, they're
Yeah,
like
they are.
just
They're stunned.
absolutely flabbergasted with every pick.
But back to your
Is that
question,
what it's like to be
Mike.
you, Mike, when you just get
I
excited
think
over that?
something.
every
Not
team
when
has
I'm this
had
tired.
some swings and misses in the first round. But I think overall, Bill, when he takes a guy in the first round, the guy's usually good. Now, he's had some misses. He's
He's
some
been
misses.
really good in the first
Yeah.
round.
Yeah.
Like everything else, lately it's been a little hit and miss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but in the second round, particularly when they take those defensive backs, they've had some issues. you know?
I think every pick is kind of its own thing, and people want to put it into a box of like, well, don't ever draft a right guard in round 2 if it falls on a Sunday, in the third. Like, it just gets so random. Like,
Don't get so.
But I will say that
exaggerating.
I will say that.
well, do you
I
think that there's connections though? I mean, do you really think
I think
like
he
he's got a
struggles
blind
at-
spot for X position? He can't see.
no,
he can't really find
no,
talent
but
at that
I think
spot?
that he overthinks it.
Yeah.
I think that they try to zig when other teams, when the
do.
rest of the league
The
is
more-
zagging.
I think the more athleticism required for a position, the less apt he is to do it because he looks for everything.
Yeah.
I think you're overthinking it, Thought. I agree
Right,
with.
right.
Yeah.
It's got to be a guy that fits a lot of different, buckets for the Patriots to be drafted higher, and sometimes that negates the athleticism because football isn't as important to him because he did this or he did that or
In that regard, I go back to feeling like he was raised at Navy and was around a lot of Navy, players, and I still kind of see that in the players he takes. That he takes the kind of guys that will go to a service academy, sometimes literally to a service academy, but
Right.
those kind of guys who oftentimes are not the greatest athletes, but they're the kind of guys that you can tell go run through a wall and they're going to try.
Hey, thanks for the call, Mike. Appreciate it.
But I just have trouble.
Jalen Petrie.
Jalen Petrie.
Safety.
Oh,
Safety.
I like him as a player. He's a good player. I mean, the Patriots didn't really need a safety, but I like him.
I feel like I'm forgetting something.
No, I agree with your
What were we talking
your
about?
premise about Bill sometimes, I think, trying to overthink a little bit. And what I would say, Mike, to answer your question is not that I necessarily think that there's something he can't do, but I do think that there have been some trends in the league that I think he's been slow to adjust to. And one of those involves sort of the spreading out and the I'm going to try to say proliferation of the passing game. So it's one of those phrases I would write. I would write it.
Yeah.
I can't speak. And I think that makes it tough for him. Like I don't think it's a coincidence that he's taking the fewest amount of wide receivers in the time that he's been in the league, because he doesn't value the position as much as other people do. It's pretty clear over the last 5, 8, 10 years, wide receivers are more important than
Oh yeah.
I mean,
right?
But then when he does take one,
Yeah.
it hasn't really
won. Like
In the first round.
to Fred's point, the second round cornerback, I can give you a half dozen.
Right.
He took one wide receiver in the first round and it didn't work. One. Like I don't think that's a referendum on he can't pick a wide receiver.
Right.
Well, but he's picked Dobson was a second rounder.
Chad Jackson.
Chad Jackson
No,
was.
no,
I mean,
I-
and who's the other kid I'm
I
thinking?
know,
Taylor
but-
Price.
But now you're going back 15 years. Like right now,
Right.
wide receiver is a position I think you have to have.
Right. The value of wide receiver has gone way up, because the need for them. It's
Well, and
they're
everything you're
just so-
saying, it makes it sound, I mean, and rightly so, it seems like it's pushing him farther away from it, of saying, I just have to try to develop guys from within.
Well, it's almost he's being a little stubborn. It's like,
Yes.
Almost?
Well, like I want to be a coach. I want to form a team and have 11 guys playing together. And when you have high-end talent like wide receiver, they don't need the coaching as much.
Yeah.
They might need to be shown how to be a professional, but in terms of like just beating out the guy that's matched up with them, they just have that type of talent.
Well, but I mean, but Randy Moss was a supremely gifted talent who loved being here. When he first got here, was always talking about how.
But he
much
didn't need to
loved
be coached. He was coaching other players.
Correct, and he was the unicorn.
Right.
He's the guy. Like Bill always says it. It's like Lawrence Taylor. Tom Brady.
Right.
Like
Matthew
Randy
Slater.
Moss was that guy for him.
Randy Moss in the
He
huddle
was the total
telling
package.
Tom, this is what we need to do. There's very few players that can do that with Tom Brady.
Like I know that Bill sometimes speaks in hyperbole. Like no one works harder than Patrick Chung.
Right.
No one, the way Bill spoke about Randy Moss's aptitude for football was different than
Yeah.
other guys. It was
Yeah.
like Ed Reed.
Troy Brown.
It's like the way he talked about Ed Reed at safety.
Yeah.
Some people see everything.
And
that's
Randy
a
Moss
quote.
was that rare guy who had top flight exceptional physical skills to go with the mind for the game. And that's what Bill's looking for.
High football IQ.
But he's also taken a lot of swings on former first-round pick receivers.
And four
Cooks.
first-round picks, period.
Yeah.
In all
Right,
positions,
right.
which I think is a great thing to do. That's a thing that Bill does and almost none of them have hit. But I think, what are you losing?
Yeah.
What do you
Right.
have to lose? You take a guy on a second contract who flamed
Michael
out.
Floyd.
David Terrell, he brought in here for a look. Jonathan Sullivan, the old defensive lineman from the
there's-
Saints.
there's tons
There's
of
a
them.
million
Yeah,
guys.
Yeah.
A million former first-round picks. And,
Who's
for the
coach-
most
coach
Dante
receiver?
Stallworth worked a little bit.
Yeah.
He gave him a little juice. But for the most part, those guys don't work. But I love the fact that he does it. I think because there's talent there.
But do you think? I think he's a smart guy who thinks about things, and I just wonder: are they trying to evolve in a certain direction? I felt like in recent seasons they were trying to evolve towards power, running game. That seemed like the active shift in the
Right.
philosophy.
Yeah. Let's go to Vinny in Chelmsford, who's been holding on. What's up, Vinny?
How you guys been?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm all right.
Vinny, I can't stand this draft. I don't know how you feel about it.
That was the best pick he's ever made. Best pick.
What are you been talking to Fred?
Come on. He's running right. Everybody else is running left.
I know.
Little
Chess and
moron
checkers.
out
I know. I get it, Vinny.
I know, but right is into traffic and left is in the freeway.
there. And then that little pretty boy pussy out now.
Oh,
Hey.
No, well,
We're a very highly rated show.
Actually, I'm glad
the press
that-
wouldn't
I'm-
like us swearing like that. on the
No, but
radio.
I'm glad Vinny brought that up because we haven't talked about it. What do you guys think of Sean McVay? Yeah. I think he was making fun of us. What do you think, Vinny? Do you think he was making fun of the?
Look, I'll take him down Mowgli Park and beat his head in. I'll shave his head and his little model girlfriend, send him back to the West Coast with all those little sissies.
Awesome. Awesome.
All right. What else you got, Vinny?
We got to take that punter from San Diego State.
In second round? You like him in the second round?
2 wins a year. 2 wins a year.
All right. 2 wins a year, he says. Thanks, Vinny. Who did the Falcons?
Arnold Ebiketie.
Thank you, Eric. I was like, Arnold E. That was like when we had Albert O last year. Albert O 2 years ago.
I think Vinny was into the sauce.
Yeah, Vinny in Chelmsford wants the punter. Says he's good for 2 wins a year.
Yeah. As much as I wanted to continue my outrage of when I watched that video of Sean McVay, once I heard that, it seemed more like he was kind of laughing at themselves, like, we spent all this time on this guy, we thinking we might have a shot at him, and we don't. Like, I don't know. When I first saw it without sound, I thought it was...
comes across as disrespectful to the Patriots, but I kind of agree with you.
I don't. The reaction as soon as the pick was like, what? And they were laughing.
I know.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh.
But I think they were laughing. First of all, they were both drunk. Did you hear that?
Oh, really?
Oh, was that true?
And yeah. And
what are they doing?
Well, that's what that's what people were saying on Twitter.
No picks till when?
Okay,
right.
so we don't know.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. It's Twitter. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I think what's his face? Florio said my goal is to be not more drunk than Sean McVay was, but not as drunk as Les Snead was.
Now, I think the moment the pick was made, they were cracking up. They were laughing at us.
It sure looked like that. I see where the interpretation can be that they were laughing at themselves, but I think that's probably a 10% chance.
And it was a little bit heightened, and perhaps from alcohol,
Yes,
a little bit
induced.
They were a little bit.
But
much,
what are we doing in LA now? We're drinking and doing live streams.
and I mean, and then you
Okay,
connect.
I know you won the Super Bowl. Good for you.
The draft video they did, which was about 2 minutes too long.
Well, that was something. That was well done.
I mean,
if you're gonna do that, you do it.
Yeah.
You do it.
I didn't see it.
I would have.
I thought it was
tighten it up.
boring. I gotta
Tighten
be
it
honest
up.
with you.
They had a Hollywood production.
Oh no, there's no question.
It was like 5 minutes long. I think.
I just kept waiting for the
But what was the point of it? What were they doing?
It was draft hype.
A hype video.
Yeah, they had Dennis Quaid in it. All the players like really with good speaking parts, and they were absolutely directed because none of them looked like stilted act. They were really natural.
I might do
yeah,
so.
I know.
It was real. It was excellent. It was very, very well done.
My only note would have been, I get where you're going. You're in
Tighten it
love.
up.
You're in love with the premise. You're making the same joke a few times. It'll land better. Cut it in half, and it would have been bang, bang, bang. That
Spoken like
would
a
have been
true
my
former
note.
Hollywood guy.
That's my note right from Hollywood.
I think they wanted to get a lot of
Studio
people.
notes from Dussault.
They wanted
I
to
might
get
do
everybody
so.
in there and everything like that.
Now, I'll say this, Fred, because we talk about a lot of that kind of content for us. If you can get the people involved, I don't care if it's not great. It's a home run.
Right.
Like if we could get Bill to do something, I don't care if Bill doesn't, if he's just sitting there.
Right.
We got Bill.
Right.
It's worth it.
Yep.
And they got the people, like Aaron Donald's in it, Kupp is in it.
Yeah.
Like that works.
Yeah.
Just in and of itself. I'm kind of with Mike. I didn't really get it.
Yeah.
And it was long.
I got it. I just think it could have been pop more.
You got it after 3 minutes, and you're like, okay,
well,
all right.
I mean, it was
Okay.
like the initial joke of Dennis Quaid playing the owner, which was funny, but that they kept going back to it, and you'd have different lines where you felt like just pick one, pick the funniest one, and use that. But I mean, it was very good. I mean, compared to what people generally do, but it feels like the Rams are feeling their oats a little bit right now, and they're
smelling
like,
themselves.
we don't need to draft anybody. We're just sitting here getting drunk and look at everybody making picks, and that's the vibe that they're giving off to the rest of the league. And I'm sure it's not just the Patriots that are. We're coming for you.
It's almost like they put like 28-3 sweatshirts out there. For
that was actually
the Patriots didn't do
that's
that.
actually
No, the
good.
Patriots didn't.
He's right.
The
He's
Pa-
right.
the Patriots
did that.
The Patriots
Some random
didn't-
blogger.
The Patriots never hit on the symbolism of 28-3 at all in any way,
Paul,
shape, or form.
I've told you before, it wasn't a shot at the Falcons. It's about life. You're down 28-3 in
That's
life.
right, Paul.
You got to never give up.
I'm
It's
about
not
to get cranky now. Kyler Gordon got drafted.
Okay,
Sad
so
panda.
at this point, are we just Andrew Booth?
Well, there's quite a few picks before then.
What about Fred's guy?
Who's
Tariq
the next?
Woolen.
Who's the next guard?
I like Woolen, but I don't like him until
Sean Ryan
the third
from
round.
UCLA will double dip at
Sean.
guard.
Oh,
I
Snarky
mean,
Paul
you
is
need
here.
depth.
No.
You need a
Snarky
solid-
Paul is
Quarterback.
into the building.
You
Solid
need
rotation.
depth. You got to protect Mac.
No, they're. I mean, how many trade ups have there been though? I mean, there what 5, 6
There's-
trade ups
there's-
already.
there's
like
a lot of
guys,
trades.
seems like everybody kind of sat overnight.
It's
and
almost
were
like there's
let's
not a
go.
lot of good players in this draft, and people
Go
are
get 'em
moving
now.
up as high as they can to get the best player they can get.
Yeah.
Almost like that.
Well,
I'm not
novel.
saying
No,
I'm
I-
not saying
concept.
it's exactly like that. It's almost like that.
No, I think
You know,
it's
and
that
different things like that.
Everybody has completely different opinions on who's good in this draft. You know.
But I think to Paul's point, the teams that identify the guy that they think is that good
Yeah,
are willing
they,
to move
they
up
go
to
get
get
him. They go get him. Yeah.
If Dad's out back raking leaves,
Go
get
get
him.
him. This one's gonna be a dandy. Let's go to Patty and Agawam. What's up, Patty?
What's up, guys and gal?
Hey.
Hey.
Hi.
You.
My cholesterol,
My caffeine intake.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I need some of that too, Tamara. Maybe some beer later too, but especially if it turns out like it did last night. So I just want to start off by saying I like the player.
Oh, Sebastian Maniscalco.
First round kind of just boggled my mind. Like when you guys know, I called in I think last week and said McDuffie was one of the guys. He was one of the guys
from
I
Washington,
wanted to trade up for.
Kyler Gordon.
No, they just put that on to make Paul miserable.
You liked
Like,
him too.
McDuffie
Don't
would've
leave
been-
me on an island over here. Over here.
You seemed overly affected by it.
So
Sorry.
Duffy would have been one of the guys that I would have traded up for. I would have liked to see us trade up for him. When he was there at 21 and they traded back, I just sunk in my seat and was like, come on, man. And, like, Strange has been on my radar. Like, when the first two guards went, I was like, yeah, well, maybe they can get this guy in, like, the third round with pick number 85. But I didn't envision it. And
I mean, I would have settled for
I-
54. I won't get snarky and say they could have got
Thanks,
him
Patty.
at 85. But I don't know. Is it out of the realm of possibility that you could have got this guy at 54?
Nope.
And I'm just looking. I mean, you never know how it would have unfolded, but there hasn't been any offensive lineman taken.
And was he really so good? Like, was he really that much the guy that you just had to bite the bullet?
And I think at 54, you're now in the range where you could probably move up to get him if you start getting antsy that someone's going to take a guard. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's to Fred's point that he checked other boxes.
Yeah. I think he did.
No,
And
I mean, I go
I
back to the
understand
Navy
that,
thing.
but
I think
why
he's that
can't
kinda
he
guy.
check those boxes from the 54th spot? I don't understand this.
I mean,
he has to be the first rounder to check boxes?
So, I'm going to go back to the point I made before, though. Like, you got Tooney in round 3, Mason in round 4. Is this guy going to be that much better than them?
No, but
so why are you taking him in round 1?
I think that they wanted to move out of the first round completely, and they couldn't. And they had to make a pick.
And there was nobody else that was better that they could have gotten him later?
Well, whether or not better, but, we need a guard. We know we're going to have to take a guard, and we know we're going to have to take a guard who has a potential to start.
But, again, my point is they got guards who started at very high levels in rounds 3 and 4.
Yeah,
Right. But maybe this year they didn't really feel – or, I mean, maybe those guys were more – let's take a chance on Tooney. I mean, it's a lower-round guy. He probably had a few more questions, and – he was able to seize that job even though you weren't like thrusting him into it.
Let's look at the line, right? Like David Andrews is solid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You would say?
Yeah.
Nobody else. If Wynn, always injured, and Wanyu, I mean, he's okay.
We don't know.
Trent Brown.
You got rid of Shaq Mason.
The line was just so
Well,
uncertain
Trent Brown,
in general.
You're right there. I forgot about Trent Brown.
What did you say?
He's solid. He's solid.
Yeah, you just have to
But
worry
Paul
about
doesn't think he's gonna
about
play.
his availability.
Yeah.
With-
Right.
I also
But
think he's okay. Like their offensive line isn't. I have no problem that they targeted the offensive line. Mike and I did 17 podcasts for this draft, and every one of them we talked about offensive line as a major need. If they had taken Zion Johnson, yes, it would have not been a sexy pick, but it would have. I mean, I would have been totally understandable to take a guard at 21. Like they needed offensive line help, along with cornerback and edge and wide receiver and linebacker and all that stuff. I'm not mad that they took an offensive lineman. I just think they took one earlier than they needed to based on what was available.
Yep.
That's all.
Let's go to Christian in L.A.
That's all.
Hey, Christian.
That is all.
Hey,
That's
good to
total
hear you guys
anonymous.
again.
Hey.
Hey, so couple of questions. Is this guy the top-ranked offensive lineman? Do you guys know?
Oh, it's Cole Strange? No. There were guys taken before him that are obviously they were ranked higher.
Yeah. Now he was the best. He was the best guard on the board. I would say at the time.
By the time we got there.
Yeah.
Okay.
The two best guards were gone,
Zion
and
Johnson,
he was
Kenny Green.
third in most lists, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, some people had him as a center, but I mean, he was
Interior.
there.
Yeah.
Right. So it seems like, Bill likes a guy that can, one, be plug and play, and two, that can do multiple things. He can be guard, center, tackle. Second question, really quickly. Do you guys know if they consult with Dante Scarnecchia during the draft?
Bedard reported today no. Bedard reported
is that
today
right?
that he was not involved.
I know I saw that a lot, and I was not.
I don't know. Like, for all I know, they flew Dante out to do a private
Yeah,
workout.
I don't
That's
think-
what they did with Solder.
I don't. But that.
I heard something on ESPN.
the staff.
I know, but so what?
He's been retired for like 2 years.
He's a consultant. You don't think that?
I don't think he is anymore. This is the point.
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
Seattle's pick.
Which one?
Who
They
is
have
it?
two picks,
Yeah,
right?
back to back.
Edge.
Who?
Boye Mafe.
Oh.
I'm honestly surprised they didn't go quarterback.
Oh, they got the next pick too. So.
Damn,
Okay.
Malik
Right.
Willis.
Malik Willis.
Yeah.
They have quarterback needs.
What's that, Christian?
I would ride it with Drew Lock, based on what's
I heard
available.
on ESPN that the all the Senior Bowl guys were super high on this Mr. Strange here, so that could probably go into it.
Dr.
My question is this: does this guy, as the league moves more towards points and more away from just defense, does this guy buy Mac 1, 2 more seconds? If that's important, Mac still doesn't have anybody to throw to. So it doesn't matter if you get a great guard that can give you a half second, a split second more. If you can't get open and you got no one to get open. Well, I'm a little confused as to why we didn't use that. I know, like you said, he wanted to get out of the first round. When we got stuck in that first round, why not just go after the fastest linebacker, go after the best wide receiver? I know guard, we needed someone to start, but it just seems like a little, like you guys all said it. Bill's digging, everyone's zagging. I'm a little perplexed, but I do understand getting a starter right away. Where do you guys think we should go at 54 if we're not going to trade down for more picks?
Defense.
Yeah.
Cornerback,
Defense.
front seven.
Yep. Just
Could we package some of those because we have so many mediocre players in this draft? Do you see us packaging several players to move up from 54 to get the best player
Sure.
that we can possibly get on defense?
Yep, they last 3 years they've moved up in the second round, so I wouldn't rule it out.
Right.
But we're getting close. We're getting down there now. So if they're going to do a
I'm
move, they
seriously-
got to start thinking about it.
What do you want,
Yep.
41? All right, so we got
Guys,
13.
I'm seriously afraid that we're going to wind up at the bottom of our division with what the Jets just did, 4 top-ranked starters, what the Dolphins just did, and what the Bills are doing. It looks like we are not going to be able to really stand and compete with those guys.
We'll see. As we know, this is all on paper. We
Yeah.
got to see how the Jets have had some really good drafts before. Thanks for the call, Christian. I'm getting annoyed at his connection.
Yeah, it was a tough connection.
I would just like to say Devin McCourty said, Dr. Strange, they said I was a bad draft pick too. Welcome to New England. You're going to fit in well.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, Shalice.
Kenneth Walker, running back, Michigan State.
He's a really good running back.
Yep.
I mean, you know me. Running backs on your own
Little
time.
beast mode.
But
Good pick
he's,
for them.
he's a good running
Who's
back.
their quarterback right now?
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock. Really.
Let's go to
They
Rob.
they were joking around. I saw on Twitter today, like they had 40 and 41. That like they should take like Malik Willis and Sam Holloway and Desmond Ritter.
Oh my gosh.
Let's go to Rob in Melbourne. What's up, Rob?
Good day, man. Hey, how's everybody today?
Good.
Yeah, I figured I'd give a call, and I was a bit disappointed with the pick that came through last night. I was actually hoping they'd take that Austrian kid.
He's still out there.
Raymond.
Yeah, Barnhard Raymond.
I'll get him with the next
Yeah, yeah. My thought is, as you said, Fred, that one of those tackles gets hurt all the time, and at least you could bring him in and maybe have a tackle of the future. And he'd probably play this year, half the games, either at right or left, because win or, your boys are going to get hurt. But,
yeah. I mean, Raymond's pretty highly ranked.
Today?
He's,
a little raw.
End of first, second round ranking.
Yeah, he's one of the higher ranked guys left.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you for a day 2, this is kind of what I'm kind of hoping to see on day 2 here. I'd like to see either a double dip at wide receiver or a double dip at linebacker. And the guys I like and you give me your opinion on linebacker, I like the kid out of Wyoming, Chad Muma, and I like the guy out of Montana State,
Troy Anderson. Yep.
Yeah, Muma's a production guy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like him as much as Chanel, but yeah.
The other guy I want is Darian Beavers. So I'd want one of those 2 smaller guys, and then I'd like to pair him with the Cincinnati guy. And then the wide receivers, I like Paul's guy, David Bell. And I think, Mike, your guy is Kyle Phillips, who I really like there too.
Yeah.
And then Wandale Robinson. So I combine them any which way. And then, Mike, this one's for you. Defensive back, I'd like for them to trade up right now and go get Travis Jones to put next to Christian Barmore. Put a big old fatty in there who can eat space.
Love
and
them
Christian
fatties.
Barmore get after him.
Saw an interesting clip of Travis Jones going against.
Thanks, Rob.
You
Appreciate
caught
it.
one of the ones he lost?
Yeah, didn't look good.
For who?
Cole Strange.
The one we already got.
What about Christian Harris, linebacker?
Here's
Alabama?
the thing.
Undersized.
Here's the thing.
But
they have a bunch of off-the-ball linebackers right now. And I know that it's not going to make anybody happy. And 1, 2, 3, 5 of them are coming off some kind of significant injury. But they've got a bunch. And so as much as you want to bring Muma in or those, I get it. I like those guys too. Who is playing the edge of the defense? Like that.
I like Harris more than
to me.
Muma, though. Just
Harris?
as those.
I would agree with you. I'm not the biggest Muma fan. I think he's kind of stiff.
I think everybody really likes Muma because Logan Wilson has turned into a super player for Cincinnati, and he played at Wyoming.
Yeah.
So they're just automatically assuming we got the wrong Wyoming guy, Cash Maluia.
Yeah.
And now we got to get another Wyoming guy.
Of those guys, of the kind of stiff middle linebackers, I like Leo Chenal from Wisconsin. I mean, he's a beast inside. But I think you need somebody, either Travis Jones, somebody on the line, somebody who plays edge. The off-the-ball linebackers, I know it's a position that's gotten a ton of attention this offseason, but they have a logjam of guys. And when you have real specific needs, I think you need an edge. You need somebody who can play on the line of scrimmage and win at the line of scrimmage. I think they're lacking those guys. The ones that they have are getting old. You've got Barmore, but after that, it's who do you got? Judon and Barmore. They need help. They need guys who can take pressure off of them so that they can make plays. And right now, we'll just focus on those 2. All right, you guys want to try to beat us with Dietrich Wise? Go for it. That's the approach teams are going to take.
This is an interesting little factoid that doesn't have anything to do with the Patriots, but this is the first time since 2000 that only one quarterback has been selected in the top 40.
Yeah.
What happened that year, Fred?
That was DJ Manuel.
2000.
Oh, 2000.
Who was drafted in 2000?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
The Brady 6.
So maybe you should just wait till 199 to take Malik Willis.
Right? Yeah. So, well, I mean, there were a lot of quarterbacks taken that year, but not early.
Only 6.
Yeah.
6 before Brady.
Yeah. Brady 6, Paul.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's not a lot.
Well,
there was 5 in the first 15 picks last year.
It's 6.
Yeah, and here goes Booth.
Oh, are you
For the
serious?
whole I know
No.
he's focusing on the number.
It's 6.
It's
To
6.
who? Mike, to who?
Booth.
Yeah.
Booth is gone.
Vikings?
The Colts.
Booth went to
the Colts, I
Minnesota.
mean?
Booth, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah, they
That
just
sucks.
traded.
Oh, they
They
did.
traded with the Klotz.
Oh.
All right. Well, my list is
Blown
Gotta
up.
keep refreshing.
it's slowly disappearing. So wait, is Gordon gone too?
Yeah,
Kyler
to the
Gordon's
Bears.
gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cornerbacks are thinning out
McCollum?
rapidly.
Sam Houston State,
He's available, I believe.
small
I
school
mean-
guy.
So you know the
but-
only guy left, Freddie,
Yeah.
at cornerback is your guy.
Tariq Woolen.
Yeah.
Your guy would be
I-
maybe.
yeah,
maybe
but I
worth
don't
taking
think
a flyer
I
on.
don't think he should be taken
No.
until
No.
like the 3rd round. You know.
Where did Elam go? Forgot.
Buffalo.
Joel writes in from San Antonio. Pardon my stupid question, but I just can't remember the video schedule. Is it all night tonight, or still just an hour or so per league rolls?
You wish it was all
Actually,
night.
we're going to have to be wrapping it up in about 6 minutes. Yeah, so it's,
Right.
it's just 1 hour, but we'll continue with the audio until 10 o'clock.
So is Ajabo still here?
Yes, he's
Yep,
still available.
he is.
So, Mike, would you say that's the best edge rusher available?
Yeah, but everybody's
Another
gonna
Michigan
lose
linebacker?
that, and everybody's going to lose their mind because he just blew his Achilles out. So they're like, oh, great. I mean, I know we need it, but like, I think you need to have a guy that
Someone's
can come
ready
in
now.
and play.
Yeah.
I mean that, and it goes back to you've got these guys, and you know, as much as I say you got the off the ball guys, you do have Uche, Jennings, Ronnie Perkins, 3 guys haven't really played, significant draft picks.
Cam
McGrone, maybe more of an inside guy, but you know those guys, they need to be able to play if you're going to find out. So are we going to take another one of those guys that we're not going to know if he can play till next year?
Fred, I was workshopping one of my developing opinions.
Yeah.
With Mike, and it's just that I think this is an indication that they might be finally ready to let those guys play.
Well, I think you're right, Paul. I think, you know, we are like they need linebackers, they need the. And they're like, we've got guys.
Yeah.
And we're going to give them a chance to play, like Paul just said. And maybe that's kind of what they're thinking, you know?
Like we get rid of Hightower, Collins. I mean,
right.
and I mean, I think
Van Noy's gone. You know, they're going to play.
Wish we had bit that bullet over the last 2 years and not now into year 2 of Mac. I've said it before. I can't fault them for taking back Dante Hightower after the COVID season. Him wanting to come back. I mean, you're going to take him back every single time he wants to come back. It was just when then it was, all right, well, Hightower's back. That's great. There's some continuity there. There's some leadership that can help shepherd some of these young linebackers as they get into the mix. But then they brought back Van Noy and Collins too, and those guys just got pushed farther down the depth chart. So we still don't know what they have, and we're entering years 2 and 3 with them. So, what does Ronnie Perkins have? Is this we're going to have to find out? And it's a lot of pressure on the defense, on Gerard Mayo, on Steve Belichick to now take these young guys that, and I know, just as an example, I know Steve Belichick was heavily involved with Ronnie Perkins. It's like, all right, well, now we're going to have to find out. There goes one of our guys too, Paulie.
Another one?
Wandale.
That's a little early for him. I really liked him, but I don't know if I liked him as much in the second round.
Wandale to the Giants. So giving Danny Jones some weapons in his lame duck ear, apparently, to throw to. And of course, Kadarius Toney, that one fell apart quick for them.
He must be a piece of work to have fallen out of favor that quickly.
Right. And if he was a potential piece of work, I don't know. I just feel like, with all due respect to Christmas, that seems like Joe Judge seems like a guy who would avoid those kind of potential question marks if it fell apart that quick.
Justin writes in, it's not exactly apples to apples, and it doesn't make it a smart pick to take him where they did. But I'm hopeful the Strange pick plays out similarly to Jaylen Brown's selection in 2017 when the Celtics fans were disappointed and booed the pick and ended up getting an all-star caliber player. Hopefully Strange becomes a strong piece of the O-line and it ends up working out. So
I have, I don't know.
What?
I have no recollection of
Jaylen Brown being booed.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying like at the Garden there wasn't like I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not Kenny Keller. I don't go to the Garden for the draft. But I don't remember that pick being universally panned. Jaylen Brown.
I don't remember either.
Is this basketball?
Yeah. It's basketball. Joe writes in, I hated the pick, but it's been made, and now I'm going to be blindly optimistic. May as well. I can't do a single other thing about it anyway. That being said, this is never a good pick. Even if he is a Hall of Famer, that is so unlikely that you can't possibly credit them for knowing that, right?
I think I'm in the same space as him, in the sense of like you can't cry over spilled milk anymore. Like,
yeah.
Well, and it's easier to root for a guy when you see him in person and you see how excited he is to be a Patriot and to be part of it. It's hard to be like, oh, you and your face, get out of here. I don't like you.
Yeah, I think he's someone.
He's beautiful.
You and your face.
I did that.
Face.
We were out on the turf today, waiting for him to come out, and talking to like Reese and a couple of the McBride, Andrew Callahan, a couple of the reporters. I was just like, so. How's your day been? And a lot of I don't like him. Oh, this is terrible. And they were laughing. I mean, it's like, woof. I mean, for everybody, everybody. It's like, you at least. I mean, they have a job to cover the guy and to, give him.
The New York Football Giants select.
Oh, who's this guy?
Wandale Robinson, wide receiver from Kentucky, a
Oh, get more of those guys.
Yeah,
Get
I
more of
think-
those guys.
I think after talking to him, like he's not just someone that is going to do a lot of talking about what they're going to do. I think he's going to show us exactly what he's capable of.
I mean,
Like,
and it goes back to kind
I
of
just
the
hope it's
Navy
good.
thing of like.
It's going to be great.
I just wish that it was at a position that could be
I'm
evaluated.
being optimistic.
Absolutely.
Overly
Absolutely.
optimistic.
Because no
If
matter
he
what
plays
he's
at a Pro Bowl level this year, how much difference does it make as far as how the
Wins
Patriots
and
season
losses.
ends up?
Yeah, and I know that there'll be a lot of people that'll be telling me how he played, but like those same people have been telling me how Isaiah Wynn and Trent Brown played last year, and they were both mediocre when they played and missed a lot of important games.
Yep.
All right, we're going to have to wrap up the video. Sorry about that. League rules. Police have come, they've, broken up the frat party. So, but we are going to continue with the audio until 10 o'clock. So we're going to take a break. We're going to go to audio only, so you can check us out on Patriots.com or the Patriots app. And we'll be right back after this.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including 6 String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar. Watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at